Hi everyone and welcome to Newegg TV. My name is Paul and today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and overview of this IPS WQHD monitor from LG. This is the 27EA83. Let's start off with a closer look at the box and some specifications. Now this is a WQHD monitor. Alright, if you are not familiar with WQHD, it's referring to the resolution, which is right over there. That's 2560 by 1440. W is widescreen, Q is quad, so this is quad HD. If you compare the number of pixels that's available in this monitor to your original old school HD, which was a 720p, you'll find that you get roughly 4 times the amount of pixels, so that's where the QHD comes from. Anyway, this is a 27-inch monitor, so measured corner to corner, you get 27 inches of screen real estate. It's a 27-inch class, and actually 27 inches, so there you go. You'll also notice that this monitor can support and display a very wide color gamut, so it can cover 99% of the Adobe color gamut for accurate color reproduction. Also features hardware calibration options, so you can set those calibration options using the actual hardware of the monitor, using the on-screen display, set in your settings and lock them in. TrueColor Pro, again referring to the amount of color depth that's available in this monitor. This has a feature called dual link up, so if you actually have 2 different video sources connected to the monitor, you can do a split screen and you can display the source from either source, the picture from either source on either half of the screen. Also features DisplayPort connectivity. In order to achieve the higher resolution of WQHD, you do need a bit more bandwidth in your connection than is available from say, your standard single link DVI or HDMI cable. So you do have DisplayPort as an option, and I believe you also get dual link DVI. And if I'm wrong about that, I'll correct myself once we get into the box. Also, again, IPS monitor, that's in-plane switching. It is the LCD technology, which has become fairly well known for really good color reproduction, color depth, and also gives you a really wide viewing angle. And here, right in front of me, you can see all the contents of the retail box, apart, of course, from the styrofoam packaging in the monitor itself. Let's go over our accessories. First off, you have a disc here from LG. This is going to include your owner's manual, also the driver installation file, monitor driver, USB driver, screen split software, and TrueColor Pro and TrueColor Finder. So a lot of useful software on this disc. If you want to get your monitor set up and calibrated, that should help out. You also get a registration card, of course, to register your device. A little bit of resolution to the manual. A couple corrections on there. Here's your easy setup guide. So this is going to have a list of all the accessories that are included in the box, as well as basic setup and configuration stuff to get the stand installed, several different languages, and then of course connectivity there on the back. Also, limited warranty information right there, so make sure you register your monitor to access that warranty. It is a 1-year parts and labor warranty directly from LG. You also have a multilingual installation or easy setup guide there as well. And then, as noted, this monitor is very keen on the color reproduction, so here is your color calibration factory report. Let's move along to this. I honestly have no idea what this is. We'll come back to it. This is the base for your stand. This is your AC adapter, so AC cable right there to plug into the wall plug, standard 3-prong plug. The notebook style connector right there, which plugs into your AC to DC converter brick, LG brick of course, and then the yellow end plugs into the monitor to provide power. They've also included a cable tie right there, so if you want to tidy up your cables, you can do so. There's an integrated 3-port USB 3.0 hub on this monitor, which is a really handy add-on. So provided you have USB 3.0 available from your computer, just plug your USB-A end into the computer. The USB-B end goes into the back of the monitor, and I'll show you where that goes. And then you can access 3 USB 3.0 super speed ports on the back of the monitor. Finally, you have a couple connector cables, which LG has conveniently and thoughtfully included in the box. So here's your DisplayPort cable. So if you have DisplayPort out on your computer, you can use that one. You also have dual link DVI, and I was correct in assuming that this monitor does support DVI. I'd be very surprised if it didn't. Again, dual link is necessary, so make sure you don't try to use this monitor with a single link cable. With single link, you'll notice some of those pinouts in the middle will be missing. You do need the dual link in order to achieve the resolution that this monitor is capable of. Speaking of which, let's move on to the monitor. Alright guys, here's some quick setup information. So this is actually called an adapter management cover, which I had originally assumed would snap on like that so you could route your cables in it. But cameraman Steve helped me out and he noted, hey, that actually looks like it could fit the AC adapter, and he was totally correct. So AC adapter brick can actually fit on just like that. and snap into place, and that way you can keep it tidy. Of course, you have the option to not put that there, or to use this for cable management if you feel it would be better suited somewhere else. But nice to have that option, and to keep your AC adapter brick nice and close to the monitor. Here's a quick demo of installing the stand. Actually, I did want to show the top of the stand because it does have kind of a nice brushed metal finish, as you can hopefully see right there. And to install, simply pop it on the back like this, and then you could hand screw this in if you wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and use my screwdriver. So with the base mounted, we can now remove this little locking pin at the back, like so. Might want to keep that on hand. And that will allow us to do the height adjustment on the monitor. But while we're back here, I wanted to quickly go over our inputs and outputs. So on the left over here, we have a Kensington lock, so you can lock your monitor down and keep it more secure. There is your AC power input for your AC to DC power brick, or I should say DC power input. You also have a USB 3.0 hub, as previously mentioned. So your B plug right there is your input, and then you have 3 outputs available that you can plug high-speed USB 3.0 devices into. Of course, that's also backwards compatible with USB 1 or 2. We also have a headphone output right there, and then you have your input. So you have a DisplayPort in, HDMI in, and DVI-D in. Again, for your full resolution, you'll want to go with that DVI or the DisplayPort. Now I'm going to go ahead and adjust this to the side, like so. Give you guys kind of a profile view. Again, this is a LED backlit LCD monitor, so you can see it has a fairly thin, thickness, if I can phrase that in that way. You also have the height adjustment again, so the monitor can lift up to about that high. You can also drop it down to about that low if you want to adjust it. You also have the tilt option, so you can give it some positive tilt that way, some negative tilt back down that way. And then finally, you have the ability, if I rotate it the right way, of course, to switch from portrait mode to landscape mode. Actually, that's from landscape mode to portrait mode, but back and forth. So some nice adjustment options here with this monitor. And again, I need to remember to try to turn it the right way. All right, let's switch around here to the front, where we can see the monitor itself. So you'll notice we have a bit more of that same brushed metal look here on the front. This is actually a plastic bezel, but they've gone with that kind of brushed metal finish on it to give it a more clean design. LG logo down there in the middle. Of course, you can see IPS and LED on the lower left, and all of your controls are down here in the lower right. Also, the screen has a nice matte finish. It's sort of a mostly matte. You get a bit of reflection when you're up close, but when you move away, everything quickly fades out, which is a personal preference of mine. I prefer matte to glossy because you get less distraction from reflections. Another feature down here in the lower right is all of your touch display controls. So you actually have little nubs underneath each one of these so you can tell what you're touching. However, they are touch sensitive, so power button right here, of course. You also have an OK button and a menu button and a left and right button. I'll give you guys a quick demo of those right now. I did want to point out it makes a little beepy noise like that. I don't know if you guys could hear when you turn it off or back on. So that gives you an indication that you're actually pushing the touch controls, because they are touch controls rather than actual physical buttons on there. You do have the option to turn that sound off. Actually, you can also disable this little LED light if you don't like those. I'll show you that in just a second, but you might notice we have a tiled image right now. So if you can follow my finger right down to here and across, that's a 1080 image. So if you'll notice where this image kind of stops, where this line is, that's 1920 by 1080 if you're looking at it just there. So that's kind of an example of the additional real estate you get, screen real estate, when you're going up to this resolution. So it's quite a bit. It's a significant difference from 1920 by 1080, and particularly if you're gaming, if you're doing video editing is another great option for a monitor like this. Production in general, or workflow type activities, having that extra space is extremely helpful. But let me quickly jump into the menu to show you guys how that works here. You just push the button at the bottom. You got a colored menu. You have the basic controls for stuff that you might expect, like brightness, contrast, volume for the built-in speakers. You can also choose your input right here for the HDMI, DVI, or DisplayPort. You can press menu to go back. You can turn eco mode on and off. You can change your aspect ratio, especially if you're viewing content that might be not the same resolution as this monitor. Another thing actually to point out, between going from 1920 by 1080 up to 2560 by 1440, it maintains the same aspect ratio. So they're both 16 by 9. The 1920 by 1080 is, and 2560 by 1440, also 16 by 9. So if you're used to watching DVDs or movies at 1920 by 1080, they'll display just great on this monitor without having to squeeze the image or cut off any part of it. You can change different color modes there. You can go to picture-in-picture mode here, so this is where you would turn picture-in-picture mode off and you can have the tiny little picture displayed down here, or you can use that balance mode and it will actually split the monitor into two sides and you can see your discrete video inputs on either side, which is a cool feature. And then also you can change different picture modes, color modes, and then you can get into advanced settings such as here's where you turn your button sounds on or off, or your power LED on and off. And that is going to wrap it up for this video on this LG monitor model 27EA83. It is WQHD, IPS, 2560 by 1440 resolution, and 27 inches measured from corner to corner. I'm Paul with Newegg TV, and if you enjoyed this video, you can find more on our Newegg TV YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you all next time on Newegg TV.